All right. Well, good morning. In chat, I did put in the bit.ly link for the slide deck, and feel free to access that from there. And if you just joined us, you may not have that. So I put it there. If you don't see chat, feel free to let us know. I know Holly, Christina, and many of you out there could copy the link and put it in chat as well. So feel free to use chat to put in questions or comments or how you may use Google Keep. And feel free to, chat among the participants today. We're glad you're here to join us here on this Friday morning, and we'll go ahead and get started. So here on slide 2, let me go ahead and share my screen as well. And on slide 2, in case if you didn't see it in chat or you can't access chat right now, there is the bit.ly link and then a Google form if some of you have filled that out already. And with this Google form, just asking, doing a quick check-in how you're doing for on this Friday. So real quick, I didn't ask you to put your name. So here, a quick summary of the responses. Let me refresh it in case if anybody's still putting some information in and filling it out. But as far as the responses we had, a lot of people chose that they are tired this morning. So that is perfectly normal, I guess, on a Friday, especially here in December. So if you haven't filled this out, this link for the Google Forms also on slide 2. Just click on this Google form and then click on the link underneath it, and that should take you to the form to fill out. So we do have some people who are happy. Perfect. We always like happy people, and some people that are excited. Maybe you can drop in chat why you are excited today. So the first question I asked is, how is your Google Keep organized? And I put down check all that apply. Some of you, it looks like 3 of you say it's a hot mess, but you can still find everything. Perfect. We've got a couple of you saying everything is organized and has a label. And then a few of you say, what do you mean labels in Google Keep? So just by that, hopefully some of you will learn some new things today. So as it's updating here, we've got more people who are excited. So glad to hear. And again, feel free to put it in chat, or we've got a small group today that feel free to unmute, and you can ask questions and or add comments as well. What are you hoping to get from today's session? Again, select all that applies. 8 of you would like to learn how to utilize your Google Keep in your workflow. Perfect. And that's our purpose for today. Just another tool out there. Again, this tool, I know many of you work with other teachers and other administrators and other secretaries. So even if you don't think that you'll use this tool yourself, feel free to share this information with other staff members that you work with and other colleagues. And then a few of you who might already use Google Keep a lot want to learn a few tips and tricks about Google Keep. And then again, I asked what other technology sessions you would like to see in the future. So here's some. Feel free to add any others in there, put it in chat, but be looking here in January for more sessions that will be offered virtually around some of these apps. So we're moving beyond just knowing about docs, but kind of digging a little bit deeper into some of these apps out there. All right, so anybody have questions on how to get to the bit.ly link, about the Google form or anything before we get started? Okay, well, feel free at any time to ask questions. A little bit about me. My name is Lisa Schwartz, and I did come from the classroom. I taught for 19 years, and I will tell you, I love questions. I love your inquisitive minds here to, not only help everyone's learning today, but I also learn that way as well. And if you talk to some people who really know me, they will tell you that I ask questions all the time. Why? Because that's how I learn and grow. I'm currently working with the Learning Technology Center. I'm going on my 4th year there, and I work primarily with school districts in the west central part of Illinois. But with us being virtual, we can reach everyone. within Illinois, within the United States, and even the world. So glad glad that we have you guys joining us today, no matter where you're coming from here. Many of you who are on this call already know a lot about the Learning Technology Center. Remember, we are grant funded through ISB, and we're here to help you. So again, if you don't see some of the trainings on our websites that any of my colleagues may offer as well, you and your staff or colleagues may need to be trained on something, feel free to reach out and we'll get you in touch with the right person that can help you. So today's agenda, again, our main goal is to look at Google Keep and hopefully learn some tips and tricks to help you with your workflow and some other ideas to make it work for you better. Here on slide 6, keeping up with Google, again, Google's always changing. So if you need to look at, want to be in the know all the time about Google, feel free to click on some of these different links here on slide 6 to learn more about different updates. So again, what I like about this slide is it's multimodality. So, and what that means is depending on how you learn is how you may want to receive information from Google. So if you are someone who learns by watching, here under number 3, you may want to subscribe to their YouTube channel to learn about that. If you learn by reading, you may want to subscribe to the email updates. If you learn by listening, here's the podcast. So again, lots of different ways here to learn about the Google updates if you want to keep up with them. I know I have a hard time keeping up with all of the updates as well. So here, moving on to slide 8 then. If you will look around your desk area, how many sticky notes do you see? Feel free to put it in chat or unmute. And our goal is hopefully to get you organized with all of those sticky notes by using Google Keep. Oh, okay. Holly says she has 0 because she's already started to use Google Keep. Awesome. Too many to count, huh, Christina? All right, Dave, I like that. 23 large ones and 8 small ones. Okay, Jason, so you don't use sticky notes, but you've got a notebook there. Perfect. Barb's like, oh, I've got 10 plus. All right, so feel free to keep putting it in chat if you would like to share. If not, no big deal. But just realize we are all coming here today from different aspects of how we use, whether it's sticky notes or use technology for our workflow. So here on slide 9, we've got what a Google Keep. This app is free within the Google Workspace environment. And then there's a few other things within Google Keep that I want to talk about. But if you look up here in the upper left-hand corner of my screen, I've got my Google Keep pinned right here. And you can see I've got some other tabs up here pinned as well. Again, if you've never pinned a tab, all you have to do is right-click on a tab and pin it. If it's already pinned, you unpin it. You might ask, why do I pin a tab? It puts it all to the left-hand side, and I can't accidentally close it. And that's just my workflow, how I just know to go in the upper left-hand corner to go to the frequent apps that I use a lot. But if I go into my Google Keep here, you can have your Google Keep. You've got a couple different views to look at. So right here, I honestly don't know. Okay, this is called is it the grid view? Yeah, so I keep it in the grid view. Right here, what you see is the list view, but I like the grid. It kind of reminds me of, Pinterest or I'm trying to think, there was another app out there that it looks like this, but you can have it, you can make the view whatever you like best. So, the Wakelet, if anyone uses Wakelet, Wakelet's got different views too. So I keep mine in the list view, but at any time you can change that. A couple other things here. If you look up here to the left-hand side, I've got the main menu. if I click on the main menu button, this is very similar to some of the other Google apps, that it just takes off the words of the different icons. But if you are a person that likes the words, just click on your main menu and then you'll have your words right there. And that's the menu of different items that we'll talk about today. So if you just were getting started today with Google Keep, never used it before, all you would have to do to go to Google Keep, a couple different ways you could go to it. If you go over here to your waffle, so if I go up to a new tab, and then, I added the Google Arts and Culture extension, so I get a picture here, but I could have went up to the, let me go back here, go up to the waffle, and I could go to Google Keep that way. Again, if for some reason you don't see your Google Keep in your waffle, keep scrolling down to see if it's down below here in the waffle. And let's say it's all the way at the bottom here. Don't forget, within the waffle, you can change the position of your icons of the different apps at any time. So all I have to do is click on it and then drag it wherever I want it to go within my waffle. So I could go that way. Another way I could go is just go to type in keep.google.com. And as soon as I start typing in this, it says, hey, do you want keep.google.com? If I do, I hit enter and it will take me there as well. There are a few other places you can go to get to Google Keep as well. I don't know if anyone's noticed, if you're on your email, over here on the right-hand side, you have these extensions apps that you can pull it up right within your email. So if I click on my email and then I click on the Google Keep icon, it brings up my notes right there. I can take a note while I'm in my email if I need to. So if I want to take a note about something, I can give it a title. I can take a note here. Again, I've got the 3 dots up here. I can archive it or I can delete it. But if I just take a note and I just hit sample, I'm just going to type in hi, or maybe I need to reply to Barb, whatever I want the note to do or say, I just type in what I want, hit done, and it adds it to my notes. Usually you can say, well, Lisa, it didn't add it right there. Are you sure it took? What happened is I pinned some of these notes here so they stay at the top. So if I want to see the note I just took, I can scroll down and I can see, okay, it's there, sample, reply to Barb. So I just put sample in there. So later on, then I can keep my Google Keep organized and I can either delete the note or archive it. So I can do that. And then once you do have the note, if you click on the 3 dots there again, do you see that you've got the option open and keep? So I can go ahead and open this and keep, click on it. It will open up a new window and it will open up my Google Keep app, just like how I had it open before. So not only in your Gmail, but you've got it in your calendar. You'll have it in your, you'll have Google Keep on the right-hand side of some of the other apps. So again, it's just to, if you're working within one of these apps, you don't have to, switch tabs. It's right there on the right-hand side of this window here. So let me go back here to Google Keep. So when I take a note, so again, I can give it a title, very similar to what I just did on the right-hand side. So again, I'm just going to put sample for right now, take a note if I need to write something. But besides taking notes, I can, if I click on these 3 dots, I have some other options here. Okay. So before I talk a little bit more about this, can you take a look either at my screen or take a look at your Google Keep? And what do you notice about it? Anything different from mine than yours? And feel free to unmute or put it in chat, whatever you feel most comfortable sharing.
Lisa, this is Jason. Mine's not as creative. I have no color on my screen. And I noticed that you've made some labels and I have none.
Okay, so color, got some images, labels. Okay, thanks, Jason. And that's okay, Jason, because I was at there at one point in time too. I just have started adding images, I would say this year, within probably the last month or so.
Lisa, I've been, it's Holly. Hi, everyone. I've been using Google Keep a lot more in the last few months. Like Lisa said, really the last month. And it's really been working out for my workflow and for making all these different lists. One thing that I found is that on the app, and this is in, to Jason, your comment too, with commenting on Lisa's images. If you get the app from your phone, you have additional options for backgrounds. Like see, like on Lisa's shared screen, her cards are either white or orange or yellow or coral. Those backgrounds can also actually have like a pencil or an image of a skylight if you add a Google Keep note from your cellular device, and then that will also transfer to a Google Keep. So Lisa, my question for you, and I'm looking too, are we able to add backgrounds the way you can from a phone on your computer device, on a Mac or a PC? Does that question make sense?
Yeah, it does. I will tell you, I have not used my Google Keep on my phone. Okay. So I haven't added backgrounds on my phone, but on the computer here, the Google Keep, yeah, you can add colors and you can add images. And I don't know if I'm answering your question, Holly.
Well, the images will just go where the little picture of you running, right? That's an image, right?
Yeah, that's, yeah, the Bitmoji.
But then if you scroll, what I can do is I'll share an image with you, Lisa, and add you as a collaborator, and then you can we'll see if it transfers to yours.
Okay, perfect. Thanks, Holly. So Christina also said there's collaborators in here as well. So I think this was maybe a couple years ago. Barb, I don't know if you still have yours, but it was Chris Worley and Lisa, and then Barb's a collaborator on here as well. So what you can do if you want to, if you're in your Google Keep app, and if you want to practice, if you want to just put today's date on there to know that maybe this is something you can go back and delete if you want to after, and put a note, maybe something that you have to do today. So let's just say that some of you might have to call the doctor today. I know we're in school, but again, you might have other things to do outside of the school too. So you don't want to forget to do that. So what I can do, I put call doctor there. What I can do is if I go down here to the 3 dots, I can actually make it a checkbox. So if I have a list of items I need to do and you have satisfaction by checking them off, do the check boxes. So besides calling the doctor, let's say you've got to meet with the principal and anything else you have to do today. Now, when I do that, let's say I need to, Oh, do you see what just popped up here? Here's something else you can do. So I set this for 9:20 a.m. today. It's a reminder. It says to do now, Minecraft lessons. Okay, and then it says plus 4 more. So what I did, I'll talk about that in a minute, but you can set reminders as well. And as you can see, it popped up on my screen. And that's within Google Keep. But right here, I've started to create this. And then if I wanted to, I can add a collaborator. So on that other one, I had Barb as a collaborator, but if I need to have Ashley as a collaborator, Ashley, I would think that I've got your email. I thought I would have it in here. I guess it's not popping up. I know Barb's is in here. Okay, so I'll go ahead and add Barb. So then if I hit save, it puts her little picture on here. and it's added Barb as a collaborator. So now this goes to her Google Keep, and then she should have two actually from me, the one just now, and then the one that from Chris Worley and I from a long time ago. I don't even know if you remember that, Barb. And then, so with this, if I hit close, then it's going to pop up down here, because why is it showing up down here? Because right here, these are the pinned ones. So if I pin it, it stays at the top of the page. So at any time I can unpin it if I don't want it pinned anymore. But if I come down here, then Barb should see this on her screen as well. But let's say I don't want her to be the, on this Google Note or Google Keep anymore. So what I can do, I can go back to Collaborator and I can take her off at any time. If I hit cancel, she's still on there. She or I can go ahead and add list items on here at any time. It'll show up on both of ours. If she wants, it's just like with anything within the Google work space, anything she's got editing rights to it. So everything she does to this, it will change on mine. So if she goes in and changes the color, she could go in and change it to a different color. So I put green. Again, I don't know if Barb can do anything with Google Keep right now. If you want to change the color, feel free, and it will update on mine. She could even add an image here. And to add an image, you could, if you have a screenshot, you can get it from there, get it from anything from, your computer files there. You can, let's say I don't want this anymore, but I don't want to delete it. I can archive it, just like with Google Classroom. For anyone who might use Google Classroom, just like you can archive a classroom, it takes it off of your screen here and it puts it in the archived folder. So it doesn't delete it. Again, if I click on these three notes or three dots here, I've got some other options here. So I can delete this. So if I delete it, it'll go into trash. And after 7 days, it will be deleted from my trash can. Like Jason said earlier about label, what I could do is I could add a label to this. So a couple different ways you can add a label. If I hit add label, I could put the name here, and let's just say, I'll just put my to-do list. Maybe I have some to-do list with, different people, and I can add a label to that. I hit create. And so then it added this to-do list label right there. Okay. Another thing, and I learned this here recently too, is if I wanted to, if I use the hashtag, that hashtag symbol brings up my labels. So I could put hashtag here, and let's say I want to add it to my Google Notes. It will add it to my Google Notes. It'll put it down here. It'll keep it up here. Okay. So if I don't want that hashtag Google Notes there anymore, I can delete it. It'll still keep my label there. So right now, this note is under two different labels. It's under the Google Notes and it's under to-do list. At any time, as you can see, if I hover over it, I can exit or click the X to remove the label. So if I hit, I closed it out, and right there it goes to, you can see my note right here on the screen. Now, the other thing here that I've got, if I just click on it here, it brings it up so I can edit it. I put a reminder. So what you just saw a few minutes ago, that reminder, I can put it, the reminder kind of similar to some of the other apps there to have reminders. I could put it for later today, tomorrow. Here's some of the built-in ones. If not, you can pick the date and time, and you can even pick place. I've never used the pick place. I'll put allow. I've got to turn on my locations and everything. I'm not going to worry about that right now. But anyway, that's also an option about picking a place for a reminder, but you've got a certain time or date. So what I did, I picked the date. I put today's date. I put 9:20 a.m. and then it can pop up there on my screen. So so adding the labels there. So I don't know if you're trying to do some of this as I'm talking here. A couple different ways to add the labels again. Remember, you could go into as you're typing the note, use the hashtag symbol and then type in what you want it, the label to be. Or if you come down here to the three dots, you can, right here it says change labels, or if I don't have any labels on it, it would say add a label. So Again, I could enter the label name here or change the labels from here. So again, just like with many of the apps out there, there's multiple ways to do the same thing. You do what works in your workflow. If I go back over here to the main menu, I like to have my main menu and the words on. It shows me my labels here. So it's very similar to whether you have labels in your Gmail or you have folders in your Google Drive, you've got them listed here. So if I go up here to my Google Notes, if I click on that, that will bring up all of my Google Notes that are in that label. Okay, and even from here, I can X out to take out. If I don't want this in this label anymore, I can remove the label at any time. My to-do list. So why are you seeing this one in both of these labels? Because I added both of those labels on there. If I'm like, oh, I don't want it in my Google Notes, close out of it, it takes it off right there and then puts the to-do list. So I've got the 3 labels there. If I go to edit labels, again, here's yet another place I can add a new label. So I can go in and add one. I can always go in and rename it right here as well. So you've got the labels here on the left-hand side. I've got my reminders here. So even though at 9:20 it showed me that reminder and I closed, took the X out of it on my screen, it will still show me, hey, here, this reminder was sent, and it was, it has the reminder here of things that I need to do now. So what I've got here is just some things that I have to do. And when I'm done with it, let's say I've read this media literacy report, I just click on that and it puts a line through it. It doesn't delete it. And then it puts it down below. So if I wanted to, I can make it full screen by just clicking on it. It shows me everything. So let's say it shows me 7 completed items. Oh, I haven't really read that. I could click on it and it takes the check mark off of there and it brings it back up here. Let's say I want to rearrange the order of my to-do now list. I could, do you see these when I hover over this? I've got the 6 dots there and my mouse changes to that image of, the 2 lines with the arrows on it. I can move the order of them at any time. If I want to completely remove it, I have the X over here where I can delete it. I know I'm showing you a lot and maybe going too fast. I'll pause here for a moment to see if you guys have any questions. I know I haven't gone over anything, but any questions about labels? Or anything that I just showed you right there?
Lisa, when you did the collaboration one, I changed the color. That color never appeared on yours because I changed it to pink. So I'm not sure what the difference was, but it did, when I put in meet with the athletic director, it did show up on yours. But when I changed the color, it didn't show up on yours.
Okay.
And the labels.
Lisa, I also
so Barb, I just learned something new from you that I didn't know.
Barb, also too, Lisa, this was amazing because one of my questions with Keep does the color transfer, kind of like folders and Drive, the color doesn't transfer from one person to the other. And when I shared that Google Keep with you, if you scroll down, I was changing the colors of the ones that we collaborate on, and they weren't updating like Barb said on your end, which then makes me realize that color doesn't transfer from, it's only universal to the user. And also the Lisa Holly to-do list, my background, I have a pencil on it, and that the backgrounds don't transfer either when you set them as a color, not the images. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Like if I add an image to that, it will transfer to yours and sync, but the palette, anything from the palette, which you have more palette options from the app, you won't be able to see it. So yeah, Barb, I'm right there with you, but thank you. That was so helpful. I was able to see that live time. So thanks, Lisa.
Yeah, no, thank you, Barb and Holly there. And so Barb, you were saying, so you changed it to pink. It didn't change on mine, but it changed on yours.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the label did not transfer either.
Okay. So you can name it. I kind of like that, and I didn't realize that either. So you can label it how it works in your brain to organize your labels.
Exactly. Yep.
Okay. Anything else you noticed there?
It seemed like it took a while to update. I do have one question on the checkboxes. Have you, I seem to have trouble trying to make that checkbox be a sub checkbox. So like if you had created a checkbox and then you wanted to create sub checkboxes underneath of that, it works, but it's very frustrating. So let's say I wanted to take meet the athletic director and move it so it was a sub checkbox under meet with the principal.
Like that?
Yeah. And that worked really good on you. Now, maybe it's because I try to do it from my phone more often than not. But I was just wondering if you had any issues with that.
I haven't, but I like how I was saying about the phone. I don't use the phone app. I always use Google Keep on my computer, but anybody else have issues with what Barb's asking? Yeah, great question, Barb. All right, if anybody does or thinks of something, feel free to drop that in chat as well. So if you go back to the presentation, you'll see that I'm not going exactly talking about everything in the presentation. Feel free to use this slide deck to go back later, or some of you may learn best by reading through it yourself right now, and that is perfectly fine. But as you can see here on slide 10, Google Keep, what can you use it for? So not only, think of it as your sticky notes replacement, or, whatever you may choose to use it for. But like Barb was saying, the checklist, you can use it to organize or document, plan, share, integrate. So again, you will evolve over time as you learn more and you see what works for you. I will tell you, I've worked with lots of teachers with Google Keep before, and some teachers will, they like to learn it, but then they may try it for a week or two and realize, hey, it doesn't work in their workflow, and that is perfectly fine. If you keep going here on the slide deck, you can see some of the other things that you can do within the note. Just again, in case if you forget everything that I've shown you, and sometimes if this is your first time with it, it could be a lot to take in. A couple other things here that I want to show you before I move on to something else. So if I go back over here, I showed you the labels, how to edit labels, looked at the reminders. If I go down to archive, so you might say, well, Lisa, if I archived a note, where does it go? If I click on archive, this is where all of my archive notes are. So again, if you want to, if you're worried about deleting everything, but you don't want your Google Keep to look so like a hot mess or so cluttered, you could just archive it so it's off of your main Google Keep. Once you're done with a list or some information, put it in archive, it will always be there. Remember, if I put anything in the trash or delete it, after 7 days, it will be deleted. So could I empty it now? I sure can. I can empty trash and it's gone now. If I'm not for sure, or, if I don't want to mess with taking time to emptying it, just know that it will be emptied after 7 days. And don't worry if you forget that, it's all right here at the top of your screen. So as you can see on some of these, like Holly said, we have some that we're collaborating on. Again, when I'm working on conference presentations, it seems like my go-to is using Google Keep rather than a Google Doc. So earlier, well, I guess last year for a conference, another colleague and I used Google Keep to talk about our different session titles here. And then it was nice when we went back to it this year, we just had to go back to our Google Keep, find it, and voila, it's there. So the other thing here that you've got within Google Keep, I don't know, my mind just going a mile a minute here, lots of things I want to show you. Let me go back here to the slide deck here then on slide 13. This is kind of was eye-opening for me because I had always used the search bar in my Google Drive. I hadn't always used it here with my Google Keep. Within Google Keep, if I come up here to the top of the page, you know, here's all of my notes. I go up and click search. So it looks a little bit different than my Google Drive. And it brings the filters here. So if I want to search all of my notes that have reminders on them, I just click on that. Here's, oh, I've got a reminder on this, okay, on that note. If I want to search all of my list, I can search all of my notes that have lists on them. So as you can see, if I just click on these different buttons here, it will sort the notes for me. So again, your Google Keep can be a hot mess, it's okay. And, or you can put a bunch of labels on it to, you know, organize it that way. But just know, if your Google Keep, whatever works for you, you can come up here to the search, click on more, and you can see all of the different types of ways you can organize all of your notes. So again, that artificial intelligence that Google uses to say, okay, all of the notes that have an image on it, puts it up here, okay? So hopefully no one's feeling like this guy right here right now. Hopefully this is helping you with your workflow rather than feel like that. You might feel, I know some of you said you feel tired today, so it's okay, you might feel tired, but hopefully not from this workshop. The other things, if I go to search, so not only can I search and filter it down by types, I can filter it right here again by labels. Again, just another way to do this. It's how your brain operates. I can also search for things. So if I have books in my notes, click on books, look what happens. So here's a Google Keep. It looks like Holly shared this with me, of books for a book study, and the links in there. And then this one was the book by Catlin Tucker here as well. So it again will automatically filter that for me. So food, if I talk about food, it'll search people. Why are these people on my Google Keep? Because I have their collaborators that are on some of my notes. And then it'll also search by colors. So again, like Barb and showed us that even though she changed that one note to pink, it's not going to show pink on mine, but I can filter it by what I have color coded it by. Anybody use the search and want to talk about how you use the search with your Google Keep? Or was this Google search, for those of you who've used Google Keep before, was that a new feature that you learned about? Okay, perfect, thank you. So again, that's on slide 13 if you want to go back and take a look at that. And 14 just talks about the 3 dots there. And I haven't talked about everything in the 3 dots. So let's go ahead and talk about everything in the 3 dots then. So let's say this need to learn. So here's some things that I put down that I want to learn. And I don't know if anybody else has a list, but it seems like that list always gets pushed back and I don't ever get to it. What I could do at any time with this list, so if I click on it, here's my list of things that I need to learn. If I go down here to the 3 dots, what I can do is I can copy this whole note in Google Keep to a Google Doc. So all I have to do is hit copy to Google Docs. go up here, and then I already did this earlier, I thought, in case if my internet was slow. And it created this Google Doc for me. It put in need to learn. Why did it do that? That was the title that I had named the Google Keep. I had an image at the top. It put that in as well. And then my check boxes, it put it in bulleted points there. And I've got everything that I had in my Google Note into a Google Keep. So if I, for some reason, was taking notes, you know, as I was reading or whatever, learning, and then later on, I wanted to transfer it to Google Doc, I don't have to copy and paste. It does it all for me right there in Google Keep. So again, when I click on the Google Note there, and so you see I have some links in there of things that I need to look at. It's got the links down here, but underneath that is the three dots. The more it copies it to Google Docs right there. Okay. And then here's the Google Docs, transfers everything over. If I need to look at this right here, all I have to do is click on that, and then I can go into it right there. The other thing for the three dots here, so I don't know if you picked up a couple different ways to get to the three dots. I guess my workflow is clicking on it and going to the three dots most of the time, but I can also go to the three dots right here and not click on it. So right here, I can just go to copy to Google Docs right there. I've got check boxes on here. So at any time I can hide the check boxes. So if I click on hide check boxes, it takes them off. At any time I can put them right back on. Show check boxes, and it puts them right back on. But if you notice, when I put them back on, it added it to the other things I had underneath that I didn't previously have check boxes on. So just know that, you know, it may not look exactly like how you had it in the beginning. I can also make a copy. I can even add a drawing. So some of you artists out there, or for some reason, you know, students want to add a drawing to it, they can add a drawing to any of their notes. And then right here, it brings you up a drawing toolbar, and you can add a drawing to your Google Note. So I don't know, you know, it seems like it's become more popular lately that people doodle in workshops, and help me out. There's a specific name for it, and I can't think of what it is. Sketchnoting. So some people may use this as a sketch, to sketch note too. So, and then I can grab image text. So if I click on that, my image text is grabbed. If I don't want that, I can undo that at any time as well. And then the actions, so it just grabs the text as an image for you. This was, Holly shared this with me this morning. There is, just like there's a bunch of different header templates out there, there's a Google Keep header, and you can go ahead and create, this is in Google Drawings. So this, someone, and we don't know who created this, who created the template, but they figured out the dimensions of the Google drawing, and I didn't even look to see what the dimensions of this one is. So someone figured out that this needed to be 5.94 inches wide and 2.06 inches high. And this header works good for your notes. So we went ahead, and once she shared that with me, I put that in on slide 17. So if you want to double check, if you want this template, if you want to double check that this works, it should force you to make a copy of it. And what you can do, you can create your own headers. And the purpose of this, then, you might say, well, why do I want to create a header? Again, this is yet another way. So right here, great ideas one day, just for you, like Jason said earlier, he doesn't have a lot of color and images. If you want to add color and images to your Google Keep. So all you would have to do then, once you created that header to make it yours, let me go back to it and walk you through the steps then, but this is what you could do. So again, and all of your extra free time, right? I guess if you need some creativity over Christmas break, maybe you could add this to probably several of your other items that you have to do. But right here where it says great ideas one day, you can change this to whatever you want. You can, go in and get an image. I could come up here and insert a text box. So let me delete this. Let me go up here and insert a text box. And then I can put in here whatever I would like. I'm going to name this list. Again, I can change the font and make it look prettier. And then what I did here is I just added my Bitmoji. You can add different images. So I have the Bitmoji extension up here on the right-hand side of your screen, and I can go up to my Bitmoji and grab any image up there, but you don't have to put your Bitmoji in. You can put in whatever you would like. So if I just copy my image, and let me go down here and paste it, then I can add my image and move it to wherever I would like here. If you don't use Bitmoji, again, you can go up here to insert, you can go to image, you can upload any images from your computer, the web, your drive, your photos. So you have all of these other options. If you haven't used Google Drawings before, don't panic. It's similar to some of the other apps out there. And you can, if you've done this before in some other apps, you can do this here with Google Drawings. So you've got to add the, not only text box, but then also an image there. You can, let's say you want to change the color. So to change the color, I need to change, I think it's the background color. Where's that at? I'm clicked on my image, that's why. Did you see what was happening? I was clicked on my image, so it was just bringing up the toolbar for the image. So I just want the change the Google Drawings. The background, help me out.
Right click in the background.
What?
Just right click in the background.
Okay, perfect. Thank you, Holly. So right click in the background like Holly just said, and then I can change the background color. So there are template headers out there like this for Google Classroom, for Google Forms. Again, very similar to that. So the Google Drawings is yet another app. So again, that's something else you can play around with if you so choose. Then how I do it, my workflow, the next step would be, so let's say I want to use this for one of my notes. I go to File and I go to Download. And when I click on Download, I download it as a JPEG image, .jpg there. And then it downloads at the bottom of my screen or wherever your downloads may go. And then when I go back to my Google Notes, so if I want to start a new note, all I have to do then is go here and add an image. And I can go to my desktop and grab the image that I want. Or I'm trying to think, I might be able to even drag this one up there. Let's see if that works. No. Let me go back to my desktop, grab the image. Let me do it one. Well, I know this, I think I saw this one there. This is the one I did earlier. So for some reason, and it just may be going slow on my end since I'm on Zoom here. And then it puts the image there. So Holly, thank you so much for sharing that with us. And again, if you're wanting some other templates out there, if you Google it, the templates are out there. And Tori, she's with us right now. Perfect. Do you want to say what you put in chat?
I just pretty much did a written up tutorial version of what you just showed them for teachers in my district earlier this year. So there's two documents in chat. There's one document that describes how to create a custom Google Keep image in Google Slides. So setting your dimensions and things like that. It assumes that you already know how to change the background and text and things like that. So it's pretty short. And then the second link that I gave actually shows you how to change the image on your Google Keep. So if you're not wanting to create something, you're just wanting to use something that you find online and upload that image, that's what that second tutorial is. If you're wanting to create your own image and then upload it, you would do the first tutorial to create your image, and then that second link shows you how to use that image in your Google Keep header. And it's with Google Slides, so you would download it as a PNG. It's not with Google Drawings. So
Okay. So Google Drawings, I always download as a JPEG, but with Google Slides, you download as a PNG.
I think that's the option that it gives us for Google Slides, and that's what I did. I don't know. I think I did PNG just because that was the first option there, but I think JPEG will probably work as well.
Okay. So my suggestion, if one doesn't work, try the other one, right? Well, Tori, thank you so much. And are you okay? Do you, for anyone who may want to access these resources after today, do you mind if I add them in?
Yeah, go ahead, share them. Whatever I share is always up for grabs. So take it, use it, whatever. Okay. It may not be, I made it in August, and you know how fast Google changes. So it may not be completely 100% accurate, but it should be close enough that people will be able to figure it out.
Okay, perfect, thanks. And that's why I always like these workshops or meetings here, because I get to learn as well. So both Holly and Tori's taught me some new things, and Barb today, so thank you. So if you look those over, if you have questions for us before we leave today, feel free to put it in chat or ask. Another thing here on slide 18, we've got shortcuts. So again, if you are a person who likes shortcuts, you can have it here on slide 18, shortcuts. Where can you see all of the shortcuts in the Google Keep app? If you go up here to the settings, the gear in the upper right-hand corner, go up to the gear, and then you've got settings. You've got keyboard shortcuts, or I apologize, I said settings. Under this menu here, you've got keyboard shortcuts, and that brings up all of your keyboard shortcuts as well. But if you go to the gear, you can look at settings. There's not a whole lot of settings to change here in Google Keep, but feel free, take a look. For some of you who might have that sharing disabled, check, it may be under your settings. Again, your workflow of how things, when you check them off, how you want them to go. Look right here to see, do you want the move checked items to bottom? If you don't want it to move to the bottom, for them to stay right where they are, just uncheck that, and that will stay right where they are. So that's some other options here. Here's the reminder defaults of your reminders. So when do you like to have your reminders? If it's not 7 a.m. in the morning, if you want to change that to 9 a.m., feel free to go in, and that will change as a default. But remember, you can always go and do a custom reminder of the day and time. So the other thing under settings here, you can enable dark theme. My suggestion, anytime you're looking at settings, change one thing at a time to see if you like it or not. So if I enable the dark theme, if I like that, keep it. If I'm like, oh, I'm not for sure about that, you can just go and easily change that back to disable the dark theme. Another thing I want to show you here before we leave is, this was all the way back on one of the first slides, and I was originally going to talk about this at the beginning, but the one thing I like about Google Keep is another workflow option is, you know how we can bookmark? Some of you may bookmark some websites that you're on. Well, Google Keep has an extension to save to keep. So let's say I want to save this slide deck from today. I could bookmark it. I could come up here, click on the star and bookmark it. But that sometimes I bookmark things and I forget about them. So what I like about the Google Keep extension is my Google Keep extension is right here. It's the same image that's on my Google Keep, except it's not yellow, it's gray. So if I want to save this slide deck to keep, all I have to do is click on Save to Keep. And what it does, right up here, it's going to save the link. It's giving it the title that I have named the file, and then I can take a note. So if I want to type in Google Keep slide deck, if I want to add a title here, I can, or take a note, or I could put Google Keep, and then I could just put slide deck there. So then it jogs my memory for later, like, why did I save this? So right here, it's saved. Again, right from here, I can click on this, open and keep, and it brings it up. So, or I could just go back to my app over here, my Google Keep up in the upper left-hand corner. So here it's got the title Google Keep, it's got the link, and it's got the slide deck. So again, it is right here. If I want it, then I can put it, combine it, add it to another keep or another note if I want to. But again, if I want to change the color, add check boxes, I can do that. So this is another way. If you use the Google extension, if you're not for sure about how to add extensions, if you want to stay on, and we can help you with that as well. But with the Google Keep extension, any website out there, you can go up here and click on the extension. It will save it. You can take a note if you would like. So it's a little bit, you've got a chance to take notes in case if, I don't know if anybody bookmarks out there and you look at your bookmarks, like, why did I bookmark this site? Here, you can hopefully take some notes to jog your memory later. But just, as soon as you click on that extension, and right now my extension's yellow, so I don't know why it changes color. Maybe it changed, it changed because I'm on Google Keep. When I'm not on Google Keep, it changes to gray. But if I go back to Google Keep, again, let's say I don't want that there, I can just delete it, get rid of it. Because over time, if you do this a lot, you can have, you can get a lot of stuff on here. So, but again, don't forget, depending on what your workflow is, do you have to have labels? You don't. Remember, you can hit search and search it by, things, by reminders, by list, or, if you do like the labels, don't forget that you've got the labels over here. You can organize it and just go and take a look at your to-do list, okay, that you've labeled. So again, I know that was a lot. Here, going back to the slide deck, if you go back down to slide 20, I've got the exit slip here. And then once you do the exit slip, I think there's about 5 questions, and then you should receive an email from the ROE1 that they will send you a link for the evaluation, and based off of that, it should then send you a link for your PD hour. So if for some reason you don't get that by Tuesday of next week, let me know, and I will look into that. But I appreciate your time today, and I do want to honor your time for the people who need to leave. But if anyone wants to stay on and ask more questions or discuss anything, feel free to do so. But appreciate your time today, and happy holidays.